Hello again, I'm Tripp Rogers, and this is Tripp's Take. This weekend, I am reminded that life is a series of ups and downs. Sunday was one of those days, and unfortunately, this weekend also showed me the worst in people. I'm going to talk about all three of those things, but let's give you some backstory. First of all, I think I had mentioned recently that Sandy's mother-in-law, Carol, passed away on Memorial Day weekend. Now, the part I didn't tell you about her late husband's family is there's the oldest brother, Jack. There was a sister that was deceased. Then there was a couple of other brothers, John and Lenny. And then there was Mitch, who passed away. And unfortunately, Lenny decided he wanted nothing to do with family and left. He sporadically talked to his mother. They supposedly had a big blowout. And last time he saw her was at his stepfather's funeral in 2018. I should mention the fact that Lenny lives not more than 45 minutes away from Sandy and I in Savannah, Georgia. He lives in Hilton Head. And I have never seen the man. And I mentioned at the time of Carol's death that the family embraced me. They could have very easily treated me badly, but they embraced me and accepted me. And that meant a lot. Unfortunately, though, there's another side to this. And I'll get to that in just a second. I talked about Sunday, best of times, worst of times. You also have heard me mention the bestest dog in the world. Emma, Sandy had when I came here 6 years ago. And I was not a dog person, and I really, I wasn't really a big dog person. I'll just say that. But Emma was a very sweet dog, always wagging her tail, always wanting attention. And I embraced the role of kind of being a part caregiver for her. I would make sure she got out in the morning, make sure she had food. I was the food guy. And Emma wanted attention and wanted always to be, have her head rubbed and stuff. And I did that. And I loved Emma. And Emma would get up on the bed with me and all that. And unfortunately, at the beginning of April, she started limping a little bit, and we thought she had stepped wrong or something like that. But when it never cleared up, we took her to the doctor, and we understood that she had a mass in her right front shoulder. And, we could treat it with chemotherapy. They thought it was cancer, but we kind of said, no, we're going to let it run its course. And well, since then, Emma had been on pills, and I'd given her the pills usually twice a day. And she was still wagging her tail, hopping around, only on 3 legs, though. But we knew time was short. Sunday morning, if you are a fan of Formula One, you know that Lewis Hamilton won his 9th Grand Prix, British Grand Prix. And if you're a Lewis Hamilton fan, it's been an awfully long time. It's been a couple of lean years. And he was leaving Mercedes at the end of this year to go to Ferrari. That was the big news in the offseason. But Sunday morning, he won the race. We didn't expect it, and we were pleasantly surprised, Sandy and I both, because we're Lewis Hamilton fans. But then a few minutes later, went in to get Emma out of bed, and Emma wouldn't move. And I had to pick her up and carry her. It was the first time she let me do that, and we knew it was time. So Sunday afternoon, we had to put Emma, put Emma to sleep, which was hard for all of us, Matthew included. We all went. And, I still see her here in the house. It's, she's not here. But that was tough. And I understand how tough it is for somebody to lose a pet. Somebody to lose anybody. It is awfully tough. But then you have those people who usurp that time for their own needs, wants. On the 4th of July, we got a phone call from Jack, who said that Lenny was making some noise about the will because he was left out of it because he didn't talk to his mom, didn't see his mom. And he was upset, but he asked us to, recall a conversation. And the last conversation we had with Carol was about what would happen when she passes away. At the time, we didn't think anything of it, but, this was important because it dealt with distribution of money. And they always say money is the thing that drives families apart. And in this case, it's causing a Grand Canyon-like shit. Well, it's already been there. I shouldn't say that. It had already been there. However, Lenny started to make some noise about the will and wanted to contest it. Now, Lenny is rather well off and doesn't need the money. And he stresses it's not about the money. It's about making sure that mom's wishes are being, thing. So that led to a 2-hour phone call on Saturday that I walked in on the middle of, and I knew who Sandy was talking to. I knew who she was talking to. And that led to more phone calls. And we come to Sunday. And we posted something on Facebook. Sandy posted something. I posted something on Facebook about Emma. And the first person to respond to Sandy's post was Jack's wife. And unfortunately, Lenny decides to air the family grievances and makes a rather nasty post about Jack underneath a post that we have mourning the loss of our dog. Let's put it this way. Lenny is a narcissist. Narcissists don't care what they do, who they hurt. They only are in it for one thing, themselves. If you don't understand what a narcissist is, I give you the former president, Donald Trump. Number 1 on the hit parade. Number 2, actor Alec Baldwin. Okay. But that was just so bad. And Sandy was very upset and told him so. So he starts off with, well, I'm sorry about that, but blah, blah, blah. And there's no justification. No justification. If somebody posts something and listen, spammers are just as bad because they do the same thing. You're posting something about your dog or your kid, and then they're posting something about what the product they're pushing. So, there's all kinds. But a narcissist does things for their own good. And they'll say, no, it's not for this, it's for that. So Lenny is, what can I say, biggest narcissist. And then he compounds this by posting something on Facebook, airing the family's dirty laundry. Really? Really? That was the last straw. I made the comment early in the weekend, which I only feel strongly more. I'm not a violent person. Yeah, I have a temper. I'll admit it. This is a guy who, if I'm ever introduced to him, I'm probably going to cold cock him. And that's going to lead to more problems than I know what to do with because I am considered a public figure. So it'll be news. But I'm going to tell you something. This guy is the lowest form of human being, and I never want to meet him. And the other part of the problem is that post on Tuesday, which was on Facebook for about 15, 20 minutes, and then he took it down, thinking better of it. A smart move, dude. It upset both Sandy and Matthew. And that's a crime in my book. And that's an unforgivable sin. The disappointment factor is times 10. And that is Tripp's Take for July the 11th, 2022. 2024, 22. Back to the future. I'd love to hear your comments about my podcast. Just feel free to email trippstake@gmail.com. It is July. We've got Hard Knocks with the New York Football Giants, and fantasy football is just around the corner. Get ready for another season of the Fantasy Sultans with the Hall of Famer Mike Scheck and yours truly. You can find it on Spotify for podcasters and on YouTube. Just search for the Fantasy Sultans. Like the music of the 60s, 70s, and 80s? WTRSradio.com is the place to go. provided by Live365.com. Join us again next week. I thank you for joining me. For now, I'm Tripp Rogers. Make it a great one.